everyone, good day. So for today's video, I will discuss to you again the topics in the Torrentera and the Philippine sourcebook. I will discuss first one of Torrentera's topic, which is the role of Islam in the history of Filipino people. Islam is one of the oldest organized religions to be established in the Philippines. Its origins in the country may be dated back to as early as the 15th century, with the arrival of Arab and Malay Muslim traders who converted some of the native inhabitants of the islands. The history of Muslims in the Philippine South, as well as the lives of its sultans, are epic in nature. It cannot be denied that their depredations and constant resistance against attempts to conquer them have resulted in a considerable lot of brutality, sorrow, and pain. But these are just responses of comparable inflictions on them. Indeed, one of the Philippines' greatest communities may make a significant contribution to the ongoing search for the national identity. Understanding the role of Islam in historical development is essential to understand Muslim history. This Islam was responsible for the courageous fight for colonialism by the West. As a result of their culture, surviving foreign hegemony to this day, Filipino Muslims have become known as the cultural communities. This history of Filipino Muslims is intertwined with the country's overall growth. The Torrentera book also talks about the agreement on peace between the government of the Republic of the Philippines and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. After reading the topic, the word peace struck my mind. Peace has always been a primary concern throughout the history at all levels of local, national, and international relations. The religious and cultural institutions that are dedicated to the cause of peace and all seek of abolition of conflict can be used to gauge humanity's concern for peace. Peace agreements are contracts designed to end a violent conflict or dramatically modify a conflict so that it can be dealt more constructively. During a peace process, different types of agreements might be struck. Each sort of agreement serves a certain purpose and contributes to overall good momentum for a final settlement. These agreements, however, are difficult to detect because their content occasionally overlaps. Not every type of agreement is required for every conflict. Some process may include step-by-step agreements that led to a final settlement. Peace and security are significant components of human life. A peaceful and safe environment is vital to every society because it influences all elements of the country's economic and social growth and it for the fulfillment of human rights. Peace have a direct impact on the development of sound, competitive, and equitable economic development, which has a favorable impact in the entire society. The Tarantera book also talks about Mental, the Little Tokyo of the pre-war Philippines. Before the onset of World War II, Mental, a tiny barangay of Davao City, became known as the Little Tokyo of the pre-war Philippines, where early Japanese migrants stayed and worked on an abaca plantation around it. Ota Kizaburo, a Japanese businessman who migrated to Davao City and the first to own an abaca plantation, which is the Ota Development Company. He also established several other companies such as Mental Plantation Company, Riverside Plantation Company, Talomo River Plantation Company, and Ginga Plantation Company, which gave economic growth and prosperity to the city. Due to his success, he considered to be the father of Davao development. Ota Kizaburo and his countrymen were very essential in bringing about the cultural and economic growth in Davao province. Following his death in 1926, the obelisk was created for the memory of Ota Kizaburo for his passion and commitment to the Davao economic development. Mental is a town with rich culture derived from its origins or its long history. Mental is seen as a symbol of Mindanao's social transition, with foreign and indigenous migrants taking control numerically, politically, economically, and culturally. The story of Mental, the Japanese presence, and their contribution to current life and culture is generally forgotten these days, which is a shame because this is such an important part of Davao history. I am amazed by the rich history of Mental, and I hope that this effort will be made for the benefit of the tourists to conserve ancient monuments and the stories behind them. History is very significant. Remembering the past helps us to comprehend how the world came to be, not just in your world, but throughout the world, including all human civilization and the nature itself. People can acquire better methods to deal with conflicts among nations and individuals by learning about the origins and impacts of the historical events. And now, let's move on to the Philippine Sourcebook, which talks about the 1987 Philippine Constitution, which focuses on the Preamble. The Preamble is the opening section of the Republic of the Philippine Constitution of the 1987. Every Filipino should memorize and grasp its meaning not just because it is beautiful, but also it is important. It is the first component of learning the Philippine Constitution by understanding the terms, their purpose, and the significance. Every phrase in the preamble has a purpose. It promotes love and devotion for our beloved Philippines. It also conveys a strong messages about our significant roles and duties as a Filipino and to our society. As a free nation, we must act and use our responsibility with an emphasis on patriotism, peace, and harmony. As I end this video, I wanted to tell each and every one of you who are watching this right now, let's start on appreciating, learning, and understanding our history, not just for us to be much educated, but for us to be much aware to the world we lived in.